Hey, what's up guys, I'm Praetorian and welcome back to Victoria 3 as we're playing as Russia. So before we get started, I do have two things I wanted to mention. First of all, we do have a storm going on outside, so you might hear that in the background of the video. And then the second thing is regarding debt spending. So I did mention this in an earlier episode, and I try not to go in debt, even though it is the best way to play this game is to go ahead and do a bit of debt spending, go in debt in order to build up your economy, because eventually that will pay itself off and your economy will be booming. You'll have the top economy in the game. And so yeah, it's certainly the better way to play the game. But the reason why I don't play this way, and I wanted to bring this up again because there have been so many comments about it, wondering why I'm not investing a bit in construction sectors so that we can, get our economy built up a little bit faster, spend some of these gold reserves. But the reason I'm not doing this is to create an artificial challenge. Honestly, this game is far too easy, guys. This is what our fourth campaign on the channel, and we've never really experienced any challenge in this game. I've never had a revolution in any of the 3 campaigns I've done. We had a couple times where we got close. In the French campaign, I think we got really close to having a revolution because we were moving kind of quick with our laws. The American campaign, we didn't even have to fight the Civil War. We completely avoided it. And I think in all 3 series we had the #1 economy at the end of the game, despite this policy of not really doing the debt spending. Even then I was easily able to, overcome all the other rival powers. And that includes the Japan series, where we started out relatively weak because initially Japan's not even a great power. They're not really that powerful compared to some of the other countries in the game. And that's part of the fun of that campaign, is that you get to rise up to great power status. But yeah, I really enjoyed that campaign. But even in that one, we were able to easily build up a very strong economy. And so that's really what it comes down to, guys, is this game is just super easy. And so I'm just creating an artificial difficulty. Regarding our mandate, we are going to invest in the next militarized industry in order to get that -15% to the military goods cost, because we don't get that in this one. And so that'll help out quite a bit. As for our last principle here, I'm really thinking about doing the research one. This does have some very good bonuses. Had one comment saying that that is the one that we should get. There's a few other solid ones as well. This one would not be as useful early on here for Russia. Like for instance, the 10% bureaucracy cost of education, that doesn't help us at all. That's really the issue with taking this principle early on, is that we don't have an education system. So yeah, we're gonna go and invest in the militarized industry too. Get those really nice bonuses. That should save us a lot of money. But yeah, as I was saying, it's really just about making the game slightly more difficult, making it take a little bit longer before we, overcome all of our rivals. So you see that huge bump there from that change. It's saying that we have an undefended front here, a vulnerable front. So we're gonna need to send some troops over there. Oh, okay, so that's a bit strange. So you still have this front here that stretches across both these regions, but then you have this front, which is just this area here. Alright, so we have to send just, 1 army over there. I assume the Ottomans are going to send some troops as well. But I think this is still going to be our priority, is this front here. So let's just go and send one of these smaller armies. I suppose we need one that's actually attacking. We're going to keep them on defense because I'm assuming I put them on defense for a reason. Maybe the army of the west? No, they're defending as well. Could do this one here. I don't know if that's going to be enough. I guess we'll find out. So have them move over there. Still losing all those convoys. That army was clearly enough. We do have the advantage there, and that's because I don't think the Ottomans can send any troops here. We just have to fight the local units there. We just unlocked the intensive agriculture tech. This gets us the fertilizer plants and the explosive factories, as well as a bunch of new production methods where we can make use of those fertilizers. We can also get a bit of fertilizer from our livestock ranches. I don't think we're going to do anything with this just yet. We don't really need more grains at the moment. And frankly, we have a lot of other things that we're already working on here. The universities and government administrations, the gold mines. I really want to get our bureaucracy up so that we can try and integrate a few more states and get the bonuses for doing so. There's actually a lot of states that are not yet integrated. And then we also have the coal mines that we're constructing here. Now, I don't know if we've gotten any coal mines built up just yet, because if we do, we need to change to the atmospheric engine pump. So let's go ahead and do that now. So that should result in us needing less of those, which is good because I don't think I built that many. Let's take a look at our economy, see how the prices are. So coal is definitely a lot cheaper than it was. I think we were in like the 40-something%. Now it's down to 23%. Paper is a lot better as well, down to 23%. We actually have a very small amount of supply and demand for the fertilizer at the moment, but it's not really too much of an issue. But what is kind of a problem is the price of clothes. They're very expensive. And since we're building all these other things, what we might want to do is just go ahead and import. Maybe from the British. Can also do the French. Looking for other possible markets. I think those are really going to be the best. But let me just sort this by productivity. Yeah, we're going to get 165 from the British, so probably the best option. So we'll do that. I think we need a lot though, so we're probably going to have to start 2 trade routes, because if we trade too much with one country, then it's not going to be profitable anymore. Because the price of goods in their country will get too high. So we'll trade with both the British and the French, and then that should improve the situation there. So did we finish up on this front? Looks like it's no longer a front. Yeah, we do have it conquered. Excellent. So those troops are moving back to this front, even though, again, it's all in the same area here. But you can see that we are advancing ever so slowly. Making progress here, just waiting for them to capitulate. They're at 156 at the moment. At least the Greeks are less likely to capitulate. That's what we want to see. Now you notice that we can't really negotiate peace here, and that's because we're not making any demands. Remember, we joined the war in order to make the Greeks our vassal. I keep saying the word vassal, should be saying subject. But yeah, we're just trying to get them as a subject, and this will be a stronger subject as well, because they're going to have some new states. And this is also quite interesting. They'll have a subject of their own. I guess this is the first time I looked at the actual war goals. The Ottomans are trying to humiliate us and get war reparations. That's how that will affect us. And then, of course, they're taking multiple states from the Greeks if they're able to achieve their victory. So that's going to make the Greeks less likely to capitulate, which is really good. I'm glad they made so many demands. Because, yeah, we don't want the Greeks capitulating with their 0 war support here. So we'll have to see what happens here, because, again, we can't really control the peace terms at all, or when they're made, since we don't have any war goals that we're demanding. But if we're able to win this, then not only do we get the Greeks as a subject, but we'll be getting a more powerful Greece, since they'll have control of these 2 states here. So just kind of gaining back some of their old territories. And maybe that'll be a goal for us, is to strengthen Greece. Increase the control of the lands around this area for them. I don't know, because we also want to make our own demands, get territory for ourselves. We might eventually annex Greece. So let's go and turn this speed up. You know, we're at war, but we're not, really doing much. Our generals are taking care of things for us. Not advancing here. I think it's just because of the mountains. I think that's a more difficult area to advance in. So, they're making the smart decision of, focusing on the Balkans to discover more gold there. I've been building out the gold mines, trying to get these constructed here. It looks like we got most of those done, since that helps reduce a lot of money for us. So we'll focus on getting the gold mines whenever we can, just make sure we pop in here. Since you get all those notifications, I kind of just click right through them. So just pop in here and make sure that we're building those. And in fact, do we want to put those on the top? I didn't do it because I wasn't sure. Yeah, we probably should. A lot of this other stuff doesn't have to be done. We've seen that coal is actually not at a bad price at the moment. Same with the paper mills. We'll go and take a look at the clothes. I'm assuming that they're still quite high. They are. So we're going to need to produce something there. Make sure that we get ourselves some textile mills. As for where we're going to build them, let's just see where we already have them. It makes sense to build at least a few of these in Kiev. We'll build 2 in Moscow. And we'll need a lot of these to really affect the price. And we got a bunch of events popping up here. So the first is industrial barriers. Factories in Tiflis have been reported to be placing Azerbaijani people into roles with incredible poor work conditions owing to their status as second-class citizens in Russia. So we can say this unequal treatment cannot stand and the Orthodox Church will lose some approval, but it's already really high at plus 13. They'd also have less pop attraction, and then the national supremacy law would get 5% pop support. Or we could say they are lucky that they're given a job at all, in which case we're going to lose standard of living for those pops. Also, we'll get some radicals as you'd expect. So 2% of the 522,000 that are in our country would become radicals, so quite a few. And then 5% of the ones that are in that specific state would also be radicals. And then there'd be less pop support for these two laws here. I think we're actually going to go with this option, just because the interest group approval isn't really going to hit us with them already being quite loyal. So with that, we also have the Foreign Manifesto. This is going to be concerning agitators. So we could say our struggle is an international one, or the foreign interference had ought to be punished, which that's the one we're going to go with. That will irritate the intelligentsia. They're neutral at the moment, so not really going to change anything if we lose 3 there. Yeah, this homesteading, it's been a little annoying. We've had a bunch of events tied to it. Members of the Anti-British League have discreetly dispatched one of their number to amplify their mission in Russia's most widely read newspaper. So we can say this sets a bad precedent, or this is ingenious. I suppose we could really use the appeasement of the Anti-British League because that has 2 of our large interest groups in there. It has both the gentry and the Orthodox Church, so we just kind of irritated. Losing the legitimacy is kind of a big negative though, but might not impact us too much. Or we just lose the interest group approval with the gentry. So we'll go with this option. Let me take a look and see if that had any impact. It did. I wasn't sure if we were like high enough where maybe you don't actually lose the 5 there, but you're still in the righteous government. So that's what's important. So we're still getting all those bonuses there, you know, particularly the loyalist ones. You can see that the gentry have lost a lot of their support, like 4%, maybe 5% of their support since we started the game. So I'm not sure who has benefited from that. Yeah, that's a little bit unfortunate since it's the only IG in our government. This war is going on quite a long time, unfortunately, so really costing us quite a bit. I think it's probably worth it, you know, getting the Greeks, but it would have been better if we could have gotten a bit more from this overall conflict. The cost to us is 3.71 million, and it's going up. And then we've also lost quite a few of our citizens, 113,000 dead from attrition and 34,000 from battle, and then quite a few wounded as well. I mean, we still have taken a lot less casualties than the Ottoman side, but we're spending a lot more than they are as well. Now, given we're doing great when it comes to money, look at those gold reserves, and that's what I really like. When I go to war, I don't have to worry about the gold reserves because we have plenty. That's one of the nice things about not doing the debt spending. Again, the main reason why I do it is just to, you know, make the game a little bit more difficult. But it does have that advantage that when we go to war, where we will likely have another war very soon, because like I said, I wanted to go to war with Japan, and then this one with the Ottoman just kind of broke out. See the total territory that we've conquered here. So again, definitely winning the conflict overall at great cost to ourselves. They've got to make peace eventually here, but you can see they're nowhere near close to capitulating. It might be wise to do a naval invasion. I mean, it looks like we're about to take Istanbul, and so that should make them much more likely to want to end this conflict. And we're winning this battle here. You know, this is our front advantage, but we are winning the battle. As you can see, our logistics are secure. Now we're pursuing them as they enact a controlled retreat. I had a lot of dead in this one. Yeah, overall, we're definitely losing when it comes to the casualty game. It's just the finances. But that's how we're winning the war, spending so much. We've almost pushed down to the Greek front, so combine these 2 fronts. So this is going pretty well, guys. Unfortunately, haven't taken over Istanbul just yet, or as we call it, Constantinople. Looks like they're cut off here. Now you'll see that we are having an extreme shortage of convoys due to all these convoy raiding, so we're going to have to deal with that, guys. What we'll do is go and pause this because we have a bunch of events here. I think our fleet is just about ready. They're pretty close. Yeah, they're going to still get a little bit of a penalty here, but I think this is good enough. Let's go ahead and send them to this node. And then we'll want to make sure our admiral is set to engage with that fleet, intercept them, seek out and destroy any enemy vessels. Could also escort convoys, but we want to destroy the ships that are there. That's our goal. So yeah, we'll finally send our fleet. It's going to take them time to get all the way from the Baltic. We do have these events. The Gentry Assembly are petitioning the government again for the legal guardianship, so we're going to have to refuse them. Although this is going to have some severe penalties. We're going to lose a lot of legitimacy, also a lot of approval with the Gentry Assembly. They're just not happy with us not passing this. We might have to, because I think we're going to keep getting it, and the consequences are going to continue to be worse every time we do. Now this does decay over the next 5 years, and we can reject it one more time, but yeah, if they ask for it again, I think we would have to pass it in that case if nothing else has changed in our government. So yeah, let's just go ahead and go with this option and take the penalties there. The next event is undeserved blame. So some Russian people are unfairly blaming the poor living conditions on their neighbors, so we can lose some authority or ignore it and lose standard of living. We could probably afford the authority here. Yeah, we'll go ahead and do that. We're not passing any laws at the moment. Support from abroad. So we've seen this event before, and so we're going to go with this option here. And the last one is spread thin. The limited political resources of the Orthodox Church have made the group's leadership question its membership in both the Anti-British League and the Russian-Prussian Association. So we can say there is no reason to remain in the Anti-British League, or membership in the Russian-Prussian Association is no longer useful. Or we say abandoning either would be unwise. Well, I would prefer that they remain in the Russian-Prussian Association, so let's go with this option here. They'll leave the Anti-British League, since we haven't really been operating against the British. So that's another reason why we'd want them to leave there. Diplomatic play in North China here that we're probably not going to want to get involved in. Looks like it's a civil war here. Okay, yeah, we're just going to declare neutrality. Not too concerned about that. Looks like another front has opened up. So that's over here. And I did notice that one reason why we might not be advancing as quickly as we'd like is they've moved around my armies again. So you still have this issue with Victoria and the warfare system, where they still move the armies around in places you might not want them. So the Imperial Guard, I don't think I sent them to Greece. I'm pretty sure we had them on our main front. And so I think that this happened, you know, when all the fronts made their adjustments. And so we want to send them to this front here. That's our important front. That's where I want to really be advancing. So unfortunate that they moved them. We can also see that the Army of the South has moved back home. Maybe when I renamed them and changed up their emblem before I started recording today. I'm not entirely sure when or why they did that. But they're the ones that were supposed to be shelling the enemy on this front. So yeah, we're seeing that we really needed to come in here and take a look at the current situation. We have the defenders of the motherland over here defending. That's where we put them originally, so we're absolutely fine with that. These guys are in Greece defending. I believe that's where we want them as well. Army of Siberia, they're currently advancing over here. We might want to move them. The Army of the West, I do want to move them over to this front, so they'll defend that. And then this army is over here, so we're going to move them over to this front, and I think we should be good. Now obviously the advantage here is much lower. That's because we got to wait for those armies to move around, and that's going to take them about a month or so. We got a couple things here. The Greeks are requesting that we permit them control of their own markets. We're going to actually decline this. By doing so, it'll increase their liberty desire and will also result in our relations with them declining. And then we also have a diplomatic play over here. So I think we have to support our subject here if we don't want to lose them, which is already the case. So this is another conflict that would break out, and we'd need to move an army over there. So I have to pay attention to this, and yeah, eventually get some troops moving over there. It's unfortunate, but at least we have them all mobilized at the moment. We see our fleet is over here, should be doing battle with the Ottomans. We do outnumber them, so hopefully we can get those destroyed and also just stop them from sinking so many of our convoys. Our numbers here are not as bad as they once were, so it seems that that is at least improving. We also have a trade agreement being offered by Austria-Hungary. We're actually going to go ahead and decline that. So we're winning on this front here, the new front. And it looks like the bubble has moved over to here, our advantage bubble, but this is still part of that front, I think. Yeah, over here. So we took over all this territory, so we should be moving towards Constantinople soon. If we win a few more battles. We just unlocked the Power of the Purse naval tech, so that'll allow us to get this new production method in our naval bases. So we'll go ahead and do that now before I forget, because you know I will. Yeah, we'll go in here and change them up. This will give us some nice modifiers, increased training rate, and would require less man of wars. That's interesting. You'd have more officers and less servicemen. Okay, we'll go ahead and do that. Really doesn't have any effect I'm not thinking about there. But yeah, we can see that the Greek front is now gone, since we conquered all this territory here. This war is requiring a lot more than I was expecting it to, guys. This conflict here is about to break out. I already got troops moving over there. You can see them going north now. They haven't arrived quite in time, unfortunately, but they're almost there. So you can see them going in there now, and we thus have the advantage of 82%. We have one army that's advancing, the other one's defending. This shouldn't take too long to get this conflict done. But I've readjusted all of our armies to account for that, and thus we have a little bit lower advantage over here. Trying to get this front here wrapped up, and I think the Greeks are also helping us, and that's the reason for the high advantage. But yeah, once that's finished up, we can send all those troops over to this front. You see we have taken over Constantinople, so I'm a little surprised that they haven't capitulated yet, nor are they really willing to. Yeah, it looks like we're going to have to continue fighting, and more are going to have to die. So if we just look at our total cost here in casualties and money, we've spent twice the amount they have, or at least our side has, and the casualties are quite high for the Ottomans, but so are the casualties on our own side. It's definitely been a much longer and more costly conflict than I was expecting when we got involved in this. They're not really even giving up that much. It's just a couple states. They need to just give in here. So we're going to go with this option again. And it looks like there's another conflict there I missed. Is that the Japanese one? Yeah. They got a war going on over here. This would be a perfect time for us to attack them. So they've already capitulated. Excellent. So our armies will begin to move over to this front, which is really not where we need them. We can see we're already winning in that area. So this is what we're going to do. Let's go and move both of those two armies over to this front here. Although I guess you do want to get that wrapped up, but since this front, I don't know that we can advance across there. We might have to do a naval invasion or something. Again, this whole thing is just taking a lot longer than expected. I thought they would have given in by now. We're going to go in decline and continue to take this same option here. Unfortunate. We also got the percussion caps. Alright, so we've been waiting on that. That's the one we actually selected to research, so we'll have to get another technology picked. Might go back to the society ones. We almost had the postal savings. Don't really need the company just yet. Central banking would be helpful for the extra minting. More authority is always great. You know what? Since we're concentrating so much on warfare right now, let's get the field works. That's a nice 10% army defense bonus. The rest of these would be helpful for getting more artillery or more small arms at the cost of other goods, which we're actually doing pretty good on most of those. Well, let's get the field works first. It's nice to pass a bonus to defense. And we don't want, rivals to get that, and we not have it. We see there's another political movement to enact cultural exclusion. Low support and low radicalism. No interest groups or agitators currently supporting it. But we'll likely get a bunch of events surrounding it, much that we have with the homesteading. Doing pretty good here. I think we're going to have to do a naval invasion, guys. We have one here, so therefore we can send our fleet over to the next area. So let's go ahead and do that. We want to deploy them over to this sea node. Get the Ottoman fleet taken out there because we've destroyed all their ships here. We could also move our Black Sea fleet over here. For some reason they're not raiding. Let me just take a look, see what's going on there. They don't have an admiral. Okay, so we need to select a new one. So 2 of them are from the Gentry Assembly, 1 from the Armed Forces. Looking at their traits, he's cruel. That increases the kill rate as commander. He's also a traditionalist commander. He also has expensive taste. Our other Gentry commander is wrathful, and as you'd expected, he's also a traditionalist commander. The Armed Forces guy, clearly the better option despite the fact that he's an alcoholic, because he's meticulous, brave, and experienced naval commander, opening up a bunch of different orders. So I think he's the one that we should recruit. So let's go ahead and do that, though I really think we might want to move him over to here. How old is he? I hadn't looked at their ages. He's 49, compared to him at 62. Yeah, I really feel like it would be better to change these 2 up. To change these 2 commanders. Well, apparently you're not allowed to do that. Okay, so that's unfortunate. Now, I did also notice that we're going to need to promote him in order to allow him to command that many ships. And I don't think that was the issue either. So we might want to change these 2 fleets up, you know, change their names and change the locations around of, and then just give some of his ships over to him just because he's the better commander. So that'd be an option. But yeah, I did want to change him over to, let me see, where are they probably going to be doing the most raiding? Maybe this area. And we don't want him on intercepting. We're going to have him raid convoys since he's got that smaller fleet. So yeah, we are now winning in the seas, sinking convoys as well. And it looks like there is a peace deal proposed. So the Greeks are proposing a white peace. Yeah, I don't think so. No. We're going to reject this. After everything that we lost and fought for, I know that we're not getting anything in the war. And I think regardless, you know, they're still our vassals, so it doesn't change what we're getting. But I want our vassal to be more powerful, and I want to take from the Ottomans. We didn't fight all this long, long war. I already have it set to rejecting. We didn't fight this long war. Lose all this money and manpower just to give in when the Ottomans are losing. Oh, we don't have to do a naval invasion. They were able to cross through here, through the straits, and we've continued advancing their territory. I mean, look at, we're kicking their butts right now. Why would we give them a white peace? We now won in the seas. We've conquered pretty much all their Balkan territory. There's a little hatch over here left. Invaded into Anatolia. Yeah, it just doesn't make any sense. Well, we did get that postal savings. I noticed when we were in the tech tree that we were pretty close to getting it. So that's increased maximum cash reserves. And also our farmers and shopkeepers will now be investing more. So maybe we'll be able to get more stuff built, you know, privately. So that'll be helpful. We did just enter into 1852. And unfortunately, we're going to have to end today's episode here. I was hoping that we'd have the war done in today's video, and then we'd be able to start one with Japan. Maybe let a little bit of time go by, let our country recover for a while. But, I mean, we're still doing great on gold reserve, so really, we don't need to wait. And we're not burning off infamy either. So we probably would have just done the war very soon after. Though they do have their civil war at the moment, so that's another reason why waiting might be wise. It looks like we'll have to do that war in the next episode. Hopefully this one will get done soon in that one. It looks like we have some broken localization over here. Because yeah, they're very close to being defeated. That's why I just don't know why we would accept any peace, though their capitulation desire is still incredibly low at the moment. So let's just take a look. This is another white peace, so we'll go ahead and reject that. And just see why they're not willing to accept peace. It seems the Greeks are asking for just too much for them to capitulate and give in to all of those. You know, if the Greeks were to propose a treaty that just took some of this, then I would be fine with it. But this peace deal just won't work, guys. We're not going to accept that. Not when we're winning and when we've invested so much. Here's the current situation. That's the amount of money that we spent. A lot. 6.6 million. This is our dead and our wounded. So very high casualties overall. I mean, it's even worse for the Ottomans. It just doesn't make sense. In real life, if they had lost this much territory, they would give in. I mean, it's just a few Greek states that they're losing. I suppose they're also losing one of their subjects here. I think the real problem here is that we're not able to propose the peace treaty. So that's one of the reasons why we can't propose something that they might be willing to accept. Yeah, let's go and pause this because we are going to end the episode here. I did notice that we have that problem with the ammunition again, probably the same issue. One of our units was built and is the wrong type, so we'll have to get that fixed. We have this event again as well, so go with this option. Well, I do hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. If you did, make sure you leave a like on it, subscribe to our channel, hit that notification bell, and leave a comment. Do hope to see you on the next one, and thanks for watching.